Hello, ladies and gents! We did not have a ship review on the channel for a while, but using my newly earned community contributor benefits, I was able to preview this beauty right here. The Texas will be a brand new Tier 5 premium battleship coming to a port near you very soon. And since owning premium ships is nice but can be pricey, hopefully this video can help you decide if it's going to be worth getting your credit card out. As usual, before we do a quick comparison to the same tier competition and have a look at a little bit of gameplay as well, we will have a look at the rich history of the real-life USS Texas. If you want to jump straight to the preview, just hit that timestamp in the description below. So, USS Texas, quite a legend in naval history. Not to be confused with the many other US ships bearing this name, our Texas, designation BB-35, was commissioned in 1914 and served rather actively all the way through until 1948. She holds a very long list of firsts. Among others, she was the very first US battleship to ever mount anti-aircraft guns and also to ever mount an aircraft catapult, only to name a few of her titles. During her eventful career as a New York-class battleship, she first saw action in Mexican waters shortly after being commissioned, where she took part in the attack on Veracruz following the Tampico incident. During World War I, as part of the Atlantic Fleet, she took part in numerous sorties that turned out to be actually mostly uneventful, apart from maybe an awkward moment when she managed to run herself aground accidentally for a couple of days not far from New York. It was really in World War II, however, where she really could play a more important role. Although being almost 30 years old by the time the US entered the Great War, she managed to serve on basically all the fronts actively. After the initial convoy duties, she first saw live action on the North African front, when as part of Operation Torch she supported the invasion of Morocco with some shore bombardment. This was only the warm-up though to Operation Overlord, aka the invasion of Normandy. Here, as part of the combined US-British flotilla, consisting of just over 700 ships, she took part in the pre-invasion early morning shore bombardment, when in just about half an hour she rained down 255 14-inch shells on the enemy shoreline. During the day she continued to support the invasion, engaging a wide range of targets ranging from enemy fortifications to machine gun nests, even down to snipers. She also continued the support during the next 10 days of the inland invasion, when they actually had to flood parts of the ship intentionally to raise the guns enough to be able to reach her targets. She was still far from being done though. After Operation Overlord, she took part in the bombardment of Cherbourg and Saint-Tropez before being transferred to the Pacific Front. Here, she supported the invasion of Iwo Jima and Okinawa. Finally, as part of Operation Magic Carpet, she transported the troops back home to be finally decommissioned and to put to rest as a museum ship near Houston, Texas. Here she is until today, now as an official US historical landmark. As the only remaining World War I-era dreadnought battleship, and the third oldest remaining battleship overall, after the Mikasa and the HMS Victory, she is definitely worth a visit. Alright, quite a bit of naval history indeed, but you are here mostly for the review, so let's get started with it. And since we are reviewing a battleship, what better part to start with than those massive guns? First is first though. As we did mention, the Texas was a New York-class battleship, so unsurprisingly it will be very similar to the actual New York, which is the regular US Tier 5 battleship. And as far as the guns go, well, it's pretty much a carbon copy of what you are used to with the New York already. Your main armament consists of 10 356mm guns split between 5 turrets, 2 at the front and 3 at the back. The limited range of fire, the limited rate of fire and the extra long turret traverse speed are all well known for seasoned US battleship captains, so no surprises here really. The secondary guns are the same as well, with 6 127mm guns, and unfortunately they are just as weak as they are on the New York. Due to the layout, at best 3 of these guns can fire on the same target at any given time, which is something that simply won't be on par with the same tier Congo's secondary firepower, for example. Moving on to the survivability treats, it has the same generally thick armor plating and hit points than the New York, but this is where the uncanny similarities start to end. Concealment is a bit of a mixed bag. The surface detectability range is slightly better, while air detectability is somewhat worse. All in all, given our limited fire range, when you can shoot at a target, they most probably can see you as well. It is really the maneuverability though when you get a nasty surprise. This thing is slightly slower than the already snail-paced New York, and the rudder shift time is considerably worse, making this a huge, very slow-turning target in open waters. Sounds like you will be the favorite snack of all carrier captains? Well, you might be surprised. This is where the Texas really gets to separate itself from its twin on the US Tech tree. The anti-aircraft power on this ship is absolutely gorgeous. Especially if you kit it out with the necessary upgrades, equipments and captain skills, CV captains will have a very nasty surprise when they think, American battleship? Hom nom nom nom. Not today, my friend. Not today. This thing literally melts squadrons in the air, which shouldn't be a surprise either if you look at the deck of the Texas. There isn't an inch on it that would not be covered with some kind of anti-aircraft equipment. Really, it looks like a hedgehog. 52 mounts firing from 82 barrels will give a huge shock to carrier captains. Well, at least in the beginning, until they learn to avoid these bad boys. Now, of course, you can still get some torpedoes in if you are not paying attention, but generally it will thin the field out well enough to be able to dodge those few remaining survivors. Getting more aircraft kills in a battleship than the carriers on your team? Welcome to the Texas. So, verdict time. Should you get then the Texas? Well, as usual, that's down to personal preference, but I think in this case it will be quite easy to make a judgment call on it. This thing has for the most part the same strengths and weaknesses as the New York, and in general the US battleship line. If you don't like the slow turret rotation, the limited fire range, and the sometimes snail-paced quotation marks speed associated with a lot of the US battleships, then, well, you won't like the Texas either. If, however, you like to get stuck in with your decent armor, then basically you have yourself a typical US battleship with a very competitive anti-aircraft armament and the usual benefits of commanding a premium ship. Alright, this was then a quick introduction of the Texas, the upcoming Tier 5 premium battleship in World of Warships. I hope you found it useful. If you did, thanks a lot for considering giving this a like or sharing it. There is still a lot more stuff coming your way this week, including some epic moments and quick reviews, so stay tuned for the coming days as well. As usual, have some great games everyone, and I look forward to seeing you again in one of the next videos.